Today we're going to kind of do a couple interesting things. One of the things that we've noticed, and Henrik, you brought this up to my attention as well, is that a lot of people are getting really kind of confused with how we best use map variants or variants. You know, obviously we want to talk about that within the context of the GMB platform, the GMB poster tool, but a lot of what you're going to see today you can utilize on your own for other ways, because there are a lot of people here that, you know, we invite others that are not part of our group or a part of our family just to come and, you know, take a look and see what we're all about, maybe learn some things for themselves. So I have Brian Kato, who's going to show us some interesting things later on about what he was doing with variants and some of the other stuff that he's doing. You know, with the tools that we have. So we're going to bring Brian on in a little bit. Who are you guys? John. We are the owners and developers of the factory tools, the ranking factory, the GMB factory, the backlink factory, the voice factory, the whatever factory you want. We've content factory. So today we're going to just be talking about some ways in which you can use some of the things Google gives us an opportunity use for your SEO, for your GMBs, and hopefully you'll learn something. So go ahead, Henrik, take it over, bud. Henrik is one of our main developer partners with the GMB. So he's obviously a lot smarter than I am about it. And he's very quick at sharing the things that we want to see. So
what I want to talk a little bit about is the Backlink Factory. And first of all, some have had a little problem with the sheets and how to organize things. So what I'll do now, I'm just closing my program and go back. And open it again.
You paused, I get to talk.
Oh shit. Oh, I mean sheets.
I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Okay. So what I want to show is a little silo here. So whenever you're using your backlink factoring, think in silo structures. So if I want to rank for plumber, I might have a category which is called plumber in New York State, and the supporting pages, which is plumber in Queens and Brooklyn, or I might have a category called in Maryland or in Florida. So what I want to do, I want to build this structure here. So what
very cool.
What I'm doing is I'm going up and say my main category is plumber, okay? And then I go down and say best.
For those of you who are new and don't know what he's talking about, these are the keyword anchor text that we're putting in the primary and secondary fields for the keywords, and in the merged area, that is what's going to be appended to the first keyword over there under plumber and best plumbers for local. Does everybody get that?
Just for the sake of it, I'm just taking a simple URL down here, say google.com. So basically what I want to do, I want to create a parent folder which is called plumber, and I want to make a sheet within the parent folder which is talking about plumber and best plumber and emergency plumber and 24/7 plumber. So what I can do now is just hit the upload, and it will create a sheet now and a drive folder. And if I'm going back here to my drive and go down and find here, that's the one I'm in, I presume. To reload that, you see up here it has generated a sheet for me, and I have here the plumber file, and you can see it's shared because there's a person in here. So if I open this one, You can see I just have a sheet in here. So what I could do is say, okay.
Wait a minute, we lost your screen, Henrik. Hold on.
What I want to do now is, okay, I say I want to merge the primary list with those two areas, Queens and Brooklyn, and it creates now a new stack of keywords over here. And then I will say, okay, I'm going up here and use the primary keywords as my stack, and I will upload that. So it will again generate a sheet in the folder, because it knows that I have the parent folder as plumber. So now it has finished, because it's generated all those links up here. So if I'm reloading this one, I will have a couple of extra folders within that folder. So you can see I have these here. So if I want, I could say, okay, I want to go deeper into this one, this plumber in Brooklyn. So I'll go back over here. I'll take this one, I'll put it up here, and I'll go back here. And I don't want to merge my primary, I just want to have plumber and this plumber, or stack it with more down here. So again, when I say I'm ready, I upload here, and I will go back, update my sheet with my drive. And if I now go into Brooklyn, you can see I have two extra folders here, best plumber and plumber. So what I achieved here was actually in the Brooklyn folder, I will have keywords that's supporting plumber in Brooklyn, which is supporting plumber in New York State, which is supporting plumber. Okay, I did a mistake. I didn't do the New York State, but I should have done that. But I think you get the point. It's a question of stacking your sheet so it siphons all the link juice up to the plumber file or the plumber folder, and then you embed that into your GSite in order to support the keyword plumber that you want to rank for. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me check.
Yes, if you guys understand it, or no, if you're still a little unsure. So the main confusion, someone said, can you go back 2 steps? In your example, use Google, but what you're saying is that is...
You can take any URL down here.
GMB, BizSite, website.
We will show that. We will show that in a second. But yeah, in general, what you get here is that the sheet here, because I pointed to Google, has, I didn't make the keyword. But what I should have done, which is an error from my point of view, I should have checked this off.
The anchor text.
The anchor text, which I forgot. But generally down here, you will have variants, GMB reviews, GMB posts, GMB websites. That's the type of links that you will put down here. If you're focusing on boosting your GMB. If you're boosting your main money site, you will have a buffer here, and that buffer URL that you will put in there, and you will of course go to the URL shortener and do as many as you want. Let me take another example. So one of the other issues that has been is when we go into the GMB Maps to generate, so here it has generated the the map for this GMB, which is called the video agency. And you can see up here, there is a map URL. That map URL you can't use. So you will have to see whether you can generate here. But when you generate it once again, it will go to the API and will come up. It takes, you can't use this one as well. You will have now to go to the map variants, and here you'll see there is one for the video agency. And what is important is that you have this section here, because that's the latitude and longitude. And now you can choose whether you will randomize the longitude or the latitude or both. And here it's set to 50. So if I hit run, you see it generates 50 variations of that URL. And when you're finished, you say, okay, I want to send that to Sheet. So I click here. It's sent that over in the URL area. And I will, of course, have to change my keywords because it's not related to plumber anymore. So video marketing. Let's just take a few cities down here. So I have here, because I'm dealing with Florida, now I have created keywords with localization. I can go down here and right click in the file description, import my map, import my map, import my map, and I could do whatever I want. I can also say I want to use the folder link stack, so I'll create a link down here in the child folder to the parent folder. So the only thing I have to change up here is,
go back to that last statement. Some people said, what?
So what?
Create a link from the child folder to the parent folder. What?
Yeah, when I hit this one up here, folder link stack, when I hit my upload, what will happen is that it will automatically create a link to the parent folder when the parent folder is created.
Right.
So you can't see that before you actually hit upload here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
So I'll go up here, hit upload. And if we go back here, if we can, we can't. You can see now it has created that link down here.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
At the same time that it's giving us the output links for the folders and the sheets that is creating in the drive folder, it's creating iframe stacks for the sheets, because it's only these sheets that you can put into an iframe and put elsewhere. The folder, the folder that you create in the drive can only be embedded into a GSite.
Which is an awesome thing when you think about it. Everything, the whole structure, the stack, everything, and put it into a GSite. How powerful is that?
That's extremely powerful. Basically, what we've done now is that we have created a new folder, which I call video marketing in Florida. I think it was this one, video marketing Florida. We have local media marketing, we have local video marketing, and this is in the background. Now I think I'm into an old one, but you get the idea.
No, it's perfect.
So what just to recap, what a lot of people have had problems with was the URL. So they were focusing on this URL or couldn't get it to work. And the reason why it doesn't work is it doesn't have any longitude and latitude in it.
Right.
So make sure whenever you are trying to do map variants that you have latitude and you have longitude in it.
Well, that's great for us to tell them that's what they should have, but what is it that they're doing wrong and they're not getting what we need them to get is the question.
So let me take another example here. You can see this is my map. And if I go into the preview here.
So in the map that you were just in, you added your address, your business, and it brought up your map.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was because this location was chosen here.
Right.
Okay. So it brought up, and everybody can see this one, the video agency is actually the location name here.
Right.
If I close this one and open it again, you can see it keeps that information. So if I'm going here and I take another, let's take this one, oceans here. You see, it still keeps the video agency here. It's a little bug that is in the system. So just be aware of it. And now I close it again. And I open it again. And now you can see it has changed. And it now has the latitude and longitude here.
We'll have to get Chris to work on that one. It shouldn't take him long to fix that.
Now, so you can see here, I'm now able to create for the ocean blending. So let's take another example here. So I paste in here, you can see I have a Google Maps, I have a viewer, I have a latitude, I have a longitude, but it's for what you call a My Map, which is the one that you create within the gsite, the drive folder. So if I hit here, it comes up say there's a problem with your map URL. So it can't use that one. But if I'm using this little thing here, I can go in here, I can paste in the map URL and I can click make, and bingo, it has created now 100 variances of my map. So if I...
What tool is that?
That's an in-house tool.
Well, why are you showing someone an in-house tool?
So if I go back to my sheets, should be able to paste that in here. So now I have the My Map variances there. So just to recap, hit generate here. And if it doesn't go and create the maps URL here with the latitude and longitude, choose it up here, the video agency. You might have to close it in order to open it again until we get it fixed. And when you open it again, why didn't that do that? Okay, there it came again. I had to create generate again. So it generated the correct, and now we can hit run. And now we can paste it to sheets.
We have a boatload of questions.
Okay, let's take them.
Well, I think the first, since you're on this particular page, what is the purpose of creating map variants and making those variants associated with local keywords, especially if you're utilizing website GMB or BizSite? So why do we worry about doing this is really the question.
The question here is that you, within the Google framework, you're creating a lot of links hitting your own map. But the URL differs with a fraction. So if you look at these, you can see here, 971, 953, 958. So it is a little fraction for a point around your GMB, so it's not the same, if you get me.
Okay.
So what we're doing here, we are actually saying in the sheets, we will have a sheet, where we have exact match keywords that's pointing to that particular GMB. We have a naked URL, we will have a secondary URL, all pointing to that URL. So from the Google properties, you're pointing out to your own maps or your own reviews or your own stack, if you're doing a cloud stack or whatever. But the question here was about the GMB. So that's what we're hitting with all we got in terms of those relevant keywords that you want to rank for. And that's what I want to emphasize again. Relevant keywords, not just a bunch of shit that you're throwing at it, but relevant keywords. So if you want to rank for mortgage broker, then you will have keywords which is related to the mortgage broker, which means mortgage broker in the locations, mortgage broker for the type of mortgage that you want to go, or home loan you want to rank for. It's better to make several campaigns with related keywords, which is really close related, and stack properly, and then do more campaigns, if you understand. Is that clear?
Does everybody understand that now, why we utilize and how powerful that this is? I want to see 62 yeses. Okay, okay. I like the yes, sir bit. That shows respect, yes. That's to you, Henrik. Okay, so it looks like everybody is getting the idea. Now, yes, there will be a replay. There always is, Randy. Thank you for asking. So I just want to put a parentheses around this, because we invite other people who are not playing with us or our tools, we really want everybody to get the opportunity to understand the power of this, and you can do this on your own, okay? You can get these map variants. It's difficult, but you can just go and move your map around a little bit, copy the URL, move the map, copy the URL, move the map, copy the URL, okay? Where do the map URLs point to, Lack? They're pointing directly to my map. It's your map, it's your business, it's your MAP. We're just having different looks at what yours is. Does that make sense? So the idea here is to train and share with this the beautiful opportunity to do this, and you can do it on your own. So you don't have to have our tools. And that's why we invite other people in here to learn and, be my guest. Hope you learned something and go do it. Go try it, and you'll see how awesome this is, okay? So, with that being said, in terms of the map variants, let me go back and ask the question before we get into bringing Brian on, okay?
Yep.
Let me see, where are we? Okay, we're going to go up here to where Rand said he couldn't see us. Okay, in your example, you used Google, but what you're saying is that you can show any site, right?
Yeah.
Any domain, it doesn't matter. Any domain.
With caution, with the URLs, when the amount of links that you're pumping out, if you're not careful, you can pump out. I pumped out roughly 8 million links to see whether I could break the damn stuff, and it collapsed after 2 million links was created.
Okay, so the point that you're making right there, Henrik, okay,
yeah.
is show over to the right-hand side where that warning is. Just right over there. See that? What we're doing is we're sharing with you how many links and rows that you're making. Because if you put 100 keywords in here and 100 URLs on the secondary and the primary, you could be up into hundreds of thousands of links. And it's better, well, we don't know for a fact, but our philosophy is, be the tortoise, not the hare. In other words, take it slow, don't go blasting it. We've had people blast it, it still works, but you really get a serious Google dance. So you do it any way that you want, but that's a warning. That's all that is a warning.
But if you count here, you have unique rows count 1096. That's actually 3,288 links, because there's 3 links within each row, right?
Right. You have your primary link, your raw link, and you also have your secondary link. So that's just, be careful. And what Henrik is saying, and Steve, Miller suggested the same thing. I don't know that you want to blast, 100,000 links to your primary website. That's why we use buffers. That's why we use other Google properties to blast. And the power of that, then you send to your other money sites, right? So I'm not looking at the answers, but just, tell me that you get it or you don't, and I'll get to it later. Do you have training on using a buffer site? Michael's asking. Well, in essence, if you will, when you take all of these links and you silo them and you take and you put them on, let's say, for example, I'm going to make this real simple. Correct me if I'm wrong, Henrik, but you can copy all of these links to a Google document. Okay. And then you can take that Google document and you can point that Google document at a particular URL. All the juice is going to the, well, let me rephrase that. Take all of this and point it to a Google document so that the juice is going to the Google document, and that Google document then points out to a single URL, so that there's only one real link coming to that URL, which is the Google document, but all of the power is going to the Google document. Does that make sense? Okay, Scott, usually a couple hours of replay will be done. Okay, so here's another problem that we've been having, and that is how to create map variants, Henrik, for an SAB with an address hidden. Well, the address...
I just did it.
Yeah.
Because if you see up here, the video agency, if I go and search for video, oh no, sorry, the video agency.
There you go, watch.
Can you see this one? It's actually a service area business.
Yes. Because you have to remember, this may be hidden to the person looking, the address, but it certainly is not hidden to Google, because when you fill out your GMB, what do you have to give them? You have to give them an address. You're just not letting them show that address. Go ahead, Henrik.
Yeah, so here you can see there's no address shown. There's only a service area. And what I did was actually, when I chose the location up here, I actually get the address which Google have got in its initial phase. And that let me create those links. You might have deleted the address physically, not by just taking it off. Then it might be an issue for you. But then you can actually, when you're searching for the location, it sometimes come up and say, is it this one or this one that you are trying to aim at? Otherwise, put in the full name and address here, and then hit generate. It should generate the correct map for you.
Right. And for those of you that are doing this manually, you get the same information. Okay. It's just when you get to share links, you get the same information. We're just putting it into our tool to make it easy. And then once we do that, Henrik, one of the things I don't think you went over was, you know, the iframe that we build for everybody when we get that. Well, actually, it comes directly from Google, but you get that iframe right there in that screen that you see.
That's the iframes over here. So you can copy that code.
Yes.
This one, copy that, use that in a place where you can embed anything, which means that in your cloud stack or in your website or whatever, you can embed that anywhere. The only thing that you can't embed is actually this URL, which is actually the folders. The folders can only be embedded into a gsite, and you should do that. And that's why we recommend you use a gsite as a buffer, where you can have everything in it.
Yeah, that's even better than a Google document. Exactly. Thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it is the iframe that carries the power, not the link in the dock to another dock. It's actually the iframe which carry most power for you. So the more you can iframe, the better.
Gregory's asking if one uses the same name for the parent folder name in a new project, does it make a new folder or use the old on that was created?
It should use the old folder, not creating a new folder. So if you have video marketing in Florida and you want to stack, let's say, all the cities like Orlando, etc., within that, then you just say the parent folder is video marketing Florida, and the system will find that because this one is actually saved into a database within the Backlink Factory. So we will search that first to see if there's a matching one. If there is a matching one, it will create, let's say, any child folders or any stacking that you're making within that folder. Does that make sense?
Yes. So if we want to make Best Plumber Delray Beach, which is a child folder, but we want to make it a parent folder under the parent that it is, you put that up in the parent folder and then create a new child folder, and it will then fill in that. So
here when I said Best Plumber in Delray Beach,
yep.
Then when I run the new stacking, the new campaign, so to say, everything will be placed within that. So the subfolder generators based on the keywords here will be placed within that particular folder. That's why you say the parent folder is the top level that you want to. So that could be, let's say, Plumber in Florida.
Cool.
And then subfolders will be cities. And then within the cities, you will have the area folders, right? So you stack it from the bottom and up.
So I think I can probably answer this question, but maybe not. Can the same drive site, i.e. email, be used for all niches and all clients just in different subfolders?
It can. But I think maybe it's for your own sake, it's better to try to get organized a little bit yourself. So you decide that, let's say Henrik here is the plumber for Gmail that I'll be using. Otherwise, I'll go in, I'll take another one. As you can see, I have a lot. So I'll put, based on what I'm trying to achieve, I will spread the links coming from various sources, not in from the same drive within Google. So you can split it up, and you should split it up.
Right.
But a campaign could easily be made within the same G account, and then you say, okay, the Florida, the cities, etc. for the plumber. Okay, then you could make a little bit later a new campaign for the same, but you choose another Gmail. But you just have to make sure that you have an overview of what you have done in terms of campaigns.
Right. It's an organizational skill. You can do it
Yeah.
all in one if you want. But if you're an agency, or if you're the manager of a lot of different GMBs, then it would probably behoove you to segment all of the work that you're doing for any one particular organization, client, customer map in that particular that particular Gmail.
Yeah. But okay. What you could have, let's say, if you have a client who shares a folder with you, which means that, let's say, Patrick, you are a client of mine. You say, I want to have a plumber in Florida as my major parent folder. You share that with me, which means that I'll be able to go in here and click the shared with me folders. Then I will see that folder within there, which means that when I'm generating this stack here, I could point to that folder.
Okay.
I just have to make sure that I don't have the same within the same my account as such.
All right, quite a few here before we get into Brian. But the one thing that just struck me real quickly here, Henrik, is this is a lot of work to put in, which is one of the reasons why at the very top up there, you'll notice the save and the load button. So just go over real quickly how beneficial that is for what we're trying to accomplish here, Henrik.
So I have this parent folder, Best Plumber Delray Beach. So I click up Save. I close the damn thing.
Hey, don't be swearing at my program.
I come back 2 days later and say, okay, no, I don't. I'm already there. So just for the sake of you guys, I'm closing them.
Just remember to always save what it is that you've done, please.
Yeah, and maybe save it before you upload, because then you make sure that you're saving whatever you have set, and if anything fails, you have the saved version. So if I hit load, it goes in here, and it was Best Plumber. That was the one.
Yep.
I go in there. I choose that CVS file. I open that. Bingo.
Boom. How cool is that? Huh? Would you pay extra for that? Because we're going to make you pay for that little button soon. How much extra would you pay? I'm kidding. 2 questions back to back. Interesting. Is it assumed that the map is then linking back to the site? Question 1. Question 2, different person. Where do the map URLs point to?
It points, you see, if I go here, grab this link.
Open it up. Where's it point to?
Where does it point to? Of course, to what I grabbed it from, which is my GMB.
There it is. Your map.
Sorry, that was not that. It was the other URL. I grabbed that, but it points to what you have taken it from. Okay, so if you have had this one, and I have made variances of that, just for the sake of the exercise, Patrick, I'm going to show them how to.
Cool, thank you.
Do something here. So I'm going back. We use I'm going back here. And you can do that for any URL that you want. I'm taking this one, I paste it in here. I say I want to go up and make, you can make up to 1,000, but that's
Please don't.
way,
Please don't.
way too much. So I'll make 20 here. So I've taken this one, I will short this link. It's a 301 link. I hit run.
So why do you use a short 301 link?
Because I get a lot of variances down here, right?
And
no, I forgot it here, but I should have put in my keyword up here because
okay,
the keyword will be associated to each of these shorties. And when I hit the sheets bottom over here, you can see I sent them over here.
Yeah. So two reasons. You're making the variance, right?
Yeah. So if you have, for instance, a gsite that you want to hit, you take that one URL, you make a lot of variances, and then you just go and hit the gsite, whatever, what you have got. Sorry.
How many links per campaign is ideal? Michael asks. Well, Michael, we don't know. The testers have done hundreds and had the needle move, and Adrian did millions and had the needle move up and down and up and down and way down, way up. So we really don't know the answer, but Henrik probably has a recommended ideal situation to maybe work towards.
What you have to do is create the most relevance to what you're trying to rank, which means that rather have a better structure in terms of a proper silo than just hammering away. Then you can feed it with a little bit and then run a new campaign, feed it with a little bit and feed it with a little bit. Or you can hammer it away and then you might be exposed to a Google dance. But then if it's dancing, if it's dropping in rankings, then don't go crazy, because you might disappear from the search results totally, but you will come back, and normally you come back within 21 days. And if you really have hit it dramatically, you can sit up to 70 days before you actually popping up again, but you will pop up. It depends on your niche. It depends on the competition, of course. The more competition, you might have to do a little bit more. If it's just a local plumber, local whatever, the competition might not be so hard. So it might be easier just to run a few small campaigns, and then you'll see that you move the needle.
A few more questions and we'll get to Bryant.
Yeah.
Any insight into whether or not putting folders into one Google account, then transferring ownership to another Google account, create one live into another? So is there any stacking value of taking my Google folder and sending it to you to put in your Google folder, and then taking your Google folder and sending it to Brian and Brian, so forth?
Well, we actually touched it before, because I said you can use different Gmail accounts to spread the inbound links to your gsite or to your map from different G accounts. You can do that either by creating a folder. So as I said, if you're creating a folder and I'm a manager of that folder, I can actually do the campaign, but I'm theoretically doing it on your G drive.
Yep. So I guess the real bottom line question is there any juice value in doing that, is the question.
There is value in actually, let's say so, if you don't see any movement of what you're doing, then you could say, okay, I'll go over to several Gmail accounts and do the same campaigns towards the same gsite.
It might be interesting to do that. Go buy 5 or 10 PVAs that are aged PVA accounts, and then they are yours, so you can just kind of play with that whole environment and see what happens, and then let us know. What are you using to make My Maps an increasing area of service? I think we're not, the area of service, what he was showing was what you say is your service area when you set up your GMB. I think when it comes to the map increasing the service, we just created an algorithm that is creating maps at various distances and points from the original. So you have variations of that map, which gives you more opportunity to do what we've shared here today with the links and the power of increasing that and widening your area of service, other than just a straight GMB itself. Does that make sense? Did I explain that right, Henrik?
No, I think the question was actually to My Maps, how you're using that. So the My Maps is a different beast where you can do quite a lot of things to actually increase your, let's say, your area in terms of what you're doing with embedding various things into the My Map.
So just as an example, go back to your mind map, because I mean, this isn't rocket science. This isn't like voodoo that nobody knows about. But no, I want to go back to yours. Okay. So one of the things that I've been doing for a very long time, and I want to just kind of share that with you, is I want you to look at the map. Okay, and you see that polygon, all right? That's a layer. That's sitting on top of the map itself, right? So the beautiful thing, and this is manually, you could do this, it's not a big deal. But when you go to the My Map and you put your business, you have that in there, you can now begin to select the service area, so to speak, right? So within that area, you're telling Google, this is my area, and you have all the functions by putting in descriptions and titles and videos and images, within that. And so literally what you're doing and what Henrik has done here is he's just laid over top of the My Map itself, that service area, by defining, it with the polygon. And the polygon up top, if you want to just share with them what that is, Henrik, is that little tool, and it just, creates an area on top of the map. So if you click on it, you can draw a line and connect lines, right? Boom, there you go, right? And so what he's done is he's identified that area, and now look at what you can do beautifully is put in your title, put in your description, and then, the other thing that is available to us over on the bottom right-hand corner is the camera. So here you can upload all of the things that Google allows you to upload. Okay? And this kind of like relates to the movie It's a Beautiful Life, because Google is allowing you and giving you permission to spam the shit out of this. Literally, spam it. Put everything that you've created in Backlink Factory in it. Put everything you've created in Ranking Factory in it. Put 100,000 videos in it. That's a little exaggeration, but the point is, you are stuffing that layer with everything that Google wants to know about that layer. And you can put a layer on top of the layer, right, Henrik?
Yeah.
You can really drill this puppy down. Right? There you go. There's a layer on top of a layer. How many of you did not know this, number one? And how many of you are using it, number two? And how many will use it now that you understand the power of using this little piece? And then when you take, listen, when you take what this map is and you do the variance on this, like, holy shit, right? You get it? This is going to be part of the Maps program that we're building that's coming up. But I just wanted you to know this isn't secret. This isn't voodoo. It's right there. You can do it. It's been there. It's been there for a long time. And even within this, right, there's another button up there that you can use for driving directions. Use it. It's free. Google gives it to us. On the right-hand side of the polygon, there is driving directions, right, Henrik?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So go in there and make driving directions and stuff the shit out of it.
But if you take this one here, then you should be able to do driving direction as well if you haven't made it correct, but that doesn't work. Because these ones, you should be able to take each individual and make driving direction. So if I make a pointer here, for instance, say I want
have to do that before you polygon it. Henrik.
Yeah.
Right. We're getting off into something that's non-related to what we're doing, but I wanted you to see, you know, as long as that we're talking about the My Maps and what you can do, there's power in them, their heels, brother. Power. Okay.
More questions?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll say more questions. Or?
Yeah, there's a couple. Let's finish it up. Brian, are you getting ready, sir?
I'm all set, man.
Never done a Google My Maps. No, I have no idea that you can do this. What do you mean variants on poly? Okay. Hey, that could be a new movie. Variants on poly. You know, that's a whole new video series. All right. Let's just take this last question, and Brian, you all ranked up and ready to go?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, Matthew's saying, let me rephrase. So let's say I have a Google Sheet URL number 1 with links to my money site, and on the other hand, I have a powerful page available URL 2, and I want to use it to give the Google Sheets number 1 some juice and power. What would be the best move, embedding the sheet or directly linking to it?
So where do you see that question? Who is it? Sorry.
The question was Maffeo, 358. And while you're looking that up, Sergey says this tool is more good for agencies. Abso-frickin-lutely not. Absolutely not. This is more good for anybody that wants to use it for one business, for 20 businesses, for 1,000 businesses. But it boils down to, if you have a client and it's your only client in the world, this is the most awesome thing you could use for that client. Just ask Brian, he'll tell you.
Absolutely, I'm a solopreneur, and yeah, this has been fantastic.
You might have to turn that Yeti down a little bit or whatever, because it's really strong.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well, good.
again here.
All right, we're gonna back off this, and we're gonna let Brian talk to us a little bit. Henrik, that was awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
So Brian, friend of mine, new friend of mine, I happened to meet when I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I was at an SEO conference by SearchCon, put on by Jim, and there's some really smart people there. How many of you ever been into a room and felt like you weren't the smartest one in the room? Give me a 1.
Can I put a 1 in there?
Yeah, it's like, look, everybody must think they're the smartest one in the room. Yeah. Look at it. Nobody's answering my question. All right. Well, let me answer my own question. You guys are much smarter than I am in this room. All right. So we got together and talked a little bit, and I happened to have lunch and sit with Brian. And I am the smartest one in the room. Good. Dante, you could do the next webinar for us. So Brian and I got to talking a little bit, and you know, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And it's kind of hard for me to always describe what I do. I'm not sure Brian actually knew what I knew what we do when I described what I thought I knew what I was doing, which obviously you could tell sometimes I don't. So Brian's a really good guy. He took some of the things that we're talking about, went out there and basically, I think, tried to prove us wrong, because that's what he does. He's analytical, and if it works. So Brian, give him a little background about who you are, what you do, and why did you even bother messing with us?
Yeah, so I used to work for an agency, recently broke off from them in January. So I do have an agency experience to answer the question about is this good for agencies or not. Typically, I had initially got involved with Google stacking through some other companies, and that's kind of how Patrick and I really hit. We talked about IFTTT, Google stacking, leverage Google properties in order to just improve your overall ranking. And really, the thing that you know, as Patrick mentioned, I'm a bit cynical when it comes to testing out new software. I love testing it, but I also like to see, does this actually work? You know, and long and the short of it, right at SearchCon, beginning in April, I had launched a new site for my business. I figured, you know, what the hell, let's go ahead and put my own site on the chopping block with this. A little bit risky of a move for, you know, considering software that really haven't tested before, but I understand how Google Drive stacking works. Patrick and I have talked about it, and I was like, hey, what the hell, let's go for it, guys. So what I have here, can you guys all see my screen? Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Now? Yes, okay, good. Hey, Art, how you doing, bud?
Outstanding.
Thanks. Cool.
So basically what I have here, let me zoom in on this.
Yeah, make it a little bit
my
bigger.
website.
That'd be great. Also, everybody, if it's a little
Awesome.
small, top right-hand corner, you can make your go-to meeting a little bit bigger, but there you go, Brian. Thank you. Cool. Better. Awesome.
Cool, bear with me 1 second here.
Oh, shit. Are you one of them analytical people that deals in numbers and statistics and crap like that?
All the time, man. I love statistics. But so let's take a quick peek at this. Basically, what you guys are looking at here is
you're a little too big. I can't read the left side.
Okay.
So
how's that? Okay. How's that for you guys?
That's even worse. Make it smaller.
There. Let's. I'll kind of talk you through what I'm seeing here. So basically, is I'm looking at a. This is link assistance tool. It's their SEO Spyglass. Really good tool for looking at competitive analysis of different domains. What I like about it is it highlights. You can see these green with the winners in each of these particular parameters. So we've got domain strength, their version of page rank. We've got Alexa rank, domain age, total backlinks, a bunch of different metrics here. You can see my site here in the first column definitely does not win out. In fact, if we were to zoom in on this, you can see my total backlinks, I only have 2 backlinks to a site that I launched mid-April. Again, this is a brand new site, not an expired domain. The reason I use this is because it's, I figured, let's actually use a good website, not a 123.xyz, throwaway site. And I also do not want to use anything that was an expired domain, just super clean test. So as you can see, very little. So I'm going up against sites that have 260 backlinks, 1,100 backlinks, 52, and 855. These are all backlinks pointing at their money site, not necessarily a T1 or any kind of tiered linking structure. So you can see it's a very, there's no way I should be winning on this.
I agree.
After one shot of Google Sheets, or the Backlink Factory, I'm on page 9, fairly low down here, but you can see at the very least, I'm on page 9. That's after one round pointing this at my GMB.
And does that
And
mean
how
you
I
were
went about
never,
doing this,
does that mean you weren't
I
anywhere
was
before?
not ranking it all,
Okay,
not in the top 100,
cool.
0. And again, this is a site that launched in April. So this first round, when we first bring Backlink Factory, this is what I ran into. I ran it one time, popped right up in page 9, and you can see we've got, after a second round, content marketing, Loveland, I'm already on page 3. So this is 2 rounds of a single folder stack, single CSV. So 2 CSVs at different, push through at different times, and I'm already on page 3 for that. I did it one more time, and you can see we've got, as far as Google ranking, it's already coming clear up. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you, I'm experiencing a little bit of a dance, bounce back and forth here. But for the keyword Loveland SEO, we've got a little bit of a dance going on. But as of June 9th, this is the term I'm going after right here, Loveland SEO. You can see this this is organic growth in Google. For those interested in this tool, it's rank tracker, again, by SEO Power Suite or Link Assistant. And what the reason I like that is because I can really drill down to granular city level metrics. I can do it from, my GMB location, both on mobile, Google, as well as Maps. So very, very granular. Again, looking at all the data, we want to make sure that we're getting this thing accurate. As you can see here, we've got a little bit of a dance when I ran it today, but in a matter of May, 14th through June 9th, this climbed clear up to number 2, position 2 for Loveland SEO in the SERP. Pretty incredible, pretty powerful stuff here. And really how I went about doing this is in Backlink Factory. For my primary keywords, I just went into Search Console, looked at terms that, maybe I would want to rank for, threw them in here, threw a variation of that keyword into the secondary keyword field, and then just did map variants and pointed them back to my GMB listing. Super simple. And also filled these just as Henrik as well. One thing I found that's extremely relevant as well, Henrik mentioned siloing and putting it in the proper structure. The same thing, but also using map location. So here's an example. So essentially what I've done here is kind of following what Henrik's recommendation there is in a real clean silo structure. What I've done is I've actually gone onto Google Maps, and Google already recognizes a lot of these particular areas. For example, Stanton Creek or Greenstone, any of these particular things, Google already recognizes those as a valid map listing. So what I've done is gone in here and put my primary keyword near, and it's basically doing a near me search for my GMB. So I'm going into Google Maps, figuring out, geographic landmarks near where I'm at, and then creating a vertical stack based on that. So down in Backlink Factory, I'm going to the lower left-hand corner into this custom keyword stack, ticking that box, and that's where I'm just putting geographical landmarks with my primary head terms. And based on that alone, that's how I achieved that particular case study. Very powerful stuff, super simple to do. And it's solely focused on the map variants and GMB. I haven't even done the link shortening. So
go back to your map.
Hopefully that gives everyone an idea of how powerful this stuff is.
Go back to your map real quick again.
What was that, Patrick?
Can you go back to your map URL?
Yeah, so what I'm looking at is different geographical landmarks, such as Fossil Lake, perhaps this Boyd Lake State Park. And I'm looking at these particular geographic landmarks and putting those into sheets as folders and creating a silo structure based on geographic landmarks.
So the Lego Vista Mobile Home Park would be a landmark.
Potentially, yeah.
And
exactly.
If you drill down your map,
Or
right? If you drill down your map to get a closer view, you'll start to see a lot more landmarks like libraries, you know, those the symphonies and stuff like that as well, right?
exactly. Parks, natural areas, schools, national monuments, any of those, it really helps paint a more holistic picture when it comes to your Google Maps listing. This is the area we're talking about, as opposed to saying just a broad, here's generally the area that we're looking at.
Right. So what we're saying is that when we accomplish this, Google is actually paying attention to the relevancy of nearby places to associate you with. Is that correct? Yeah, Karen, we know it's his voice is a little garbled, but can't do anything about it. So that's really all you did was just create an association with your particular area. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, all I did was create an association on the map to my Google My Business. And essentially, one of the things that Google My Business looks at for, obviously relevancy, proximity, prominence, I'm fulfilling all three of those by more or less painter for Google as to where my business is at.
So when you're creating your structure, what anchors did you use in the sheets? Same as folders, question mark?
No. So what I used there were my primary head terms that I pulled from Search Console. So Loveland SEO, Loveland SEO Consultant, Loveland Social Media Marketing, Loveland Marketing, Loveland Marketing Company, fairly keyword rich anchors on that. And all of that linked back to the map variants that are native within Backlink Factory.
Gotcha. So the relevancy of the anchors to the points of interest in the area that you want to service, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which literally could be 2 miles or 20 miles.
Yeah, we did a buddy of mine, we did a case study on Tuesday, and he actually, in doing a similar kind of thing like this, was able to push up an attorney 60 miles away onto page 2.
Wow. And where was he prior to that?
It's not a small town. We're talking a town of 30,000 people.
Maybe one of the things that we could do, because this is a little bit hard for everybody to understand for whatever reason, you're kind of going in and out quite frequently. I could do a little video and kind of go over these things as the actual recipe.
Yeah, sorry about that,
guys. Really clear that this helps move the needle, right? And that's basically what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should emphasize a little bit what Brian is doing. He's hitting the GMB with the variances. The GMB in itself, I assume, Brian, that's correct, is the major website, your major money site is the web page that you are using, not the Google My Business website on the GMB in itself, right? So you're pointing from the GMB to your major website. Is that correct?
Yeah, my GMB listing does have the primary website listed.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm pointing this at is my GMB listing. So going back into Backlink Factory, GMB Maps, this entire process was I'm simply using this variant here. We'll say, let's not do 405, let's do 50.
Brian, what I'm trying to emphasize is that these variances you are pointing at here, with all the links which you put into the sheets, all point to your GMB, and your GMB points to your money site, and that's what moves you up in the organic rankings. As for the organics,
yes,
and for the GMB in itself, it's what shoots that up into the 3-pack.
You know, what's kind of interesting, Henrik, with that statement, it kind of sounds like you're saying that your GMB is your buffer site to your website.
It is, because the GMB, you will live with all these links, but if you have as the website on your GMB, when you optimize it, you can either choose to point to your business GMB website or to the money site.
Right.
And if you point it to the money site, that what I'm trying to say, that what you saw in the ranking tracking, that the organic rankings moved up, and that's due to the fact that you are hammering the GMB with the backlinks, that's pushing that organic rankings up. But in addition, if Brian, I presume further out to the right, you have the Google rankings as well. There we can see that the GMB in itself will also increase in ranking.
When you say GMB listing, what exactly is it? Is it pointing to the G site within the GMB or the whole knowledge panel? Well, there's no real G site in the GMB. There's a biz site, but not a G site. So how would you answer that, Brian? When you say GMB listing, what exactly is it? Is it pointing to the G site within the GMB or the whole knowledge panel?
The knowledge panel. I'm specifically using it. If we were to open up, hopefully we don't crash this here. It's pointing to my Google My Business. So, and that if I were to click through on Maps, it's going to be this particular listing as well. So it's solely the verified Google My Business listing,
right,
that we're linking to. So now, obviously, this has been a very limited test. Didn't want to taint it, so to speak, with a bunch of other things. Obviously, taking a very analytic approach, I want to test one thing.
Right.
Does it work? Yes or no. Rinse, repeat. Now, there's a lot of other things that we could do with it. I mean, we could look at tiered link building, tiered structures. As you can see, this is the primary website that I've got here. We could do a lot of different things. I could go into the website that's associated with my Google My Business. And on separate accounts, I have seen, just as Ranking Factory's seen with your other tools, if you take your posts and you're posting twice a day, that can give a massive lift in your relevancy on Google My Business. Just for the purposes of this test only, it was very controlled. It was the variations and variants on it were monitored quite closely. And
you have to do that, otherwise you don't know what really is affecting the needle to move one way or the other. If you got 32 different things going, you don't know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. The only thing I've used on this, and as you and I talked about, Patrick, the only variant at all with this is I was involved in some SEMRush chats via Twitter, and it looks like one of the tools that I used there was giving me a couple backlinks, but definitely to be in all fairness, that is the only other variant that could have provided links to my site.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
We all use different tools for this. So, and I'm not going to ask everybody what you're using, but we want to know how, for SEO analysis, don't you want to know what your competition backlinks are, Brian?
Absolutely.
So how do you go about finding what is actually backlinked to your site? Can you share that with everybody, what you do?
Yeah, so a couple things that I do.
Open it up and prove it, show it.
Yeah, so what I'm looking at here, this is the link assistant.
Yep.
And basically what we can do is look at my backlink profile.
Yep.
Look at my backlinks. There was the SearchCon profile. And then this is a completely unrelated thing. I did a quick DIY moonshine recipe, and I'm getting, as you can see, a no follow link back there. So this is literally.
Wait a minute. I only see 2 links here.
There are only 2 links. Now,
no, how many links did you create in Sheets?
A lot.
Where are they? How come they don't show up?
That's the beauty of Sheets. They do not show up. Now I tested this again using yesterday. We tested it with a site called redbot.org. And we'll just take a quick peek at this because it will return a 200 code.
I want everybody to listen to what's happening here.
So redbot.org, this is essentially, and hats off to Jim Kreinbrink for this. He actually showed me this particular tool. We're going to copy that Google Sheets link here.
Remember as that, you can see, okay?
As you can see, this is actually, is showing a valid response code. And if we view the body, let's scroll down here.
Kind of popped it over to the right there a little bit. See it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian, you have the same in the GMB poster. That's the same tool checking for the.
Okay. And see, that's one of the things that was the beauty of this test, though, is I do not have any other ranking factory software. My results are solely based on Backlink Factory. There are no other tools that I've used here. So that's one of the things. Now, again, if any SEO knows, like, don't rely on one single tool to try and get your results. In looking in SEMRush, this is yet another one that I've used. If we were to go and take a look at my site here.
Pay attention, everybody. This is awesome. Everybody uses SEMRush to get all the data that you need to beat your competition, or on the reverse side, what? Your competition looks at SEMRush to get the information so they can beat you.
So let's take a look here. SEO toolkit. Let's look at our backlink analysis. And what's so great about Sheets and using Sheets to obtain backlinks is it's almost like Black Ops covert kind of stuff here.
Please do not use those words in my room.
Okay, sorry.
Now we're gonna get stuff. Oh, you guys are black hat. Yeah.
No, it's not black hat. But it's the beauty of this is, so I mean, you can see that this is recognizing 199 links. Now, what those links are coming from, and this is again why, in all transparency, I want to let people know I was involved in some tweet chats, so you can see tweet chat,
yeah,
and it's seeing that I've got some links there. Here's that apple moonshine recipe right here.
Yeah.
And you can see I've got a number of links because that was shared.
But you had all over again before, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, completely didn't matter here. I mean, these are back, these are just
April, May, going back.
Yeah. These have already been here. But I mean, what's super cool with this is that referring domains are seeing 4, referring IPs 4. There is nothing about Sheets here. So as far as a competitor trying to reverse engineer this process,
competitors can't see what we're doing. Anthony nailed it. How many of you guys think that's really cool? Nobody knows, nobody can figure out what you're doing to get your client ranked, and they can never ever figure out and beat it unless they're part of Ranking Factory and Backlink Factory.
And
wow, again, Michael's wow with explanations.
2
Very
links.
Cool. Stealth. Oh,
260.
Hey, I like
1108.
this. Henrik.
52.
Stealth Factory.
I like it.
So is this cool, guys? All right. But the point is, guys, is that one of the biggest questions that we get, and Henrik, I mean, how many times have we answered this, right? I've been to site.google.com and put it in and nothing shows up. Or does the fact that these are not indexing, or the fact that they cannot be seen, or the fact that they're not crawled by SEMRush and they don't see these links, how is that possibly helping us rank if they don't exist?
The beauty about this is that Google loves Google, right?
Mhm.
And that's the effect that we're seeing of it. And the other measures that like SEMRush and Moss is trying to put in the face of us is actually not of our concern as long as we're within the G factory, we should call it, because whatever we pump of authority, it Moss might not recognize it, SEMrush might not recognize it, but who cares as long as we're ranks? And we're just giving the other SEOs a hard time to figure out what we're doing. So the basic idea about it not getting indexed, who cares if our bar for document not getting indexed as long as the maps getting indexed and the organic rankings is actually pumping up. You know, we had oceans coming from nowhere to actually being everywhere. And that was because we were using the D structure to pump it up.
Yeah, this is another graph here, just showing you initial bump here with it April 14th when I did the first pass, did another pass, and you can see it just spikes here.
Right.
And it's, I mean, we have a little bit of a dance and a little bit of chop going on here, but
you're still up there, baby.
Yeah, it just it spikes, it sticks. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It works.
And let me also say this. So far, and Paul, is really kind of making a point here, which we haven't got to, but you haven't messed with iframes yet, right?
I have done none of that. The only thing that has been done on this is map variants right back to my GMB. Very clean test. That
Right.
is the only thing that has been done. There's no iframes. I haven't put this into a G site. I haven't done any traditional link building other than Backlink Factory.
That's awesome.
Which is, I guess, a little untraditional, but that one single approach. And what's really nice with this as well that I've been seeing on a different site is if you're pulling those links that you're just on the cusp of ranking for on page 1.4, so you go into Search Console, find what you're ranking, maybe rank 11 through 25. Just needs a little kick in the butt. Put that into Backlink Factory.
Right.
And that's going to give you that little extra oomph that you need to get up and over the hump onto page 1.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I really appreciate you in a number of different ways, because you don't have any relationship with us. You're just a random guy that I met in a random event, talked randomly about how do we do certain things, shared an idea about what we're doing and what we thought were, pretty exciting solutions to a problem and results that we were getting. Not scientific, just the fact that we were getting results. And, listen, if you're doing Ranking Factory and GMB Factory and Backlink Factory and you put all that shit together, it's like, okay, what moved the needle? And it all moves the needle in some way. But, you were like the guy that, has to disprove Christianity by proving it's wrong and end up finding out that maybe it's not wrong.
Exactly.
Not a political or religious, inference here, but a lot of people, when they go to disprove something because they don't believe it or they want to know, they ultimately end up proving what it is that they were trying to disprove.
Exactly. And my attitude in testing a lot of different software and a lot of different approaches is, let's see if we, like you're saying, we can disprove it, or let's go into it with a bit of skepticism and cynicism, thinking that, talk's cheap. Let's see what the results actually are.
Right.
And if the results can speak for themselves, I definitely think they do in this case.
Well, I really appreciate, you taking the time to reach out to me to say, hey, Pat, I need to share this with you because I think it's important for you to know from my perspective, i.e. your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So is this, I guess my question, and Henrik and I have had this conversation before as well, are you willing to share this with your other SEO guys, or do you want to just keep it to yourself?
I think, I think that if anyone is interested in learning about this, I would be more than happy to discuss it with them. Now, as far as just willy-nilly going out there and saying, hey, everyone, this is how we're doing it. I think I'm a little more guarded than that. I think that, you know, never revealing your best secrets to everyone and anyone. Now, the people that you trust that are close to you, close and in your inner circle, absolutely. I think that's, in the SEO industry, I think that's the only way that we get better is if we understand and learn from each other that this is how, this is an effect and an effective methodology to move forward with. But yeah, I would be
kind of this, Brian.
Yeah.
In order for you or anybody else to actually share something with other people, i.e. smart people, qualified in what they know and what they do, debatable people that, don't believe anything that you say, this gives you the confidence to go to people that you're friends with and share with them something that you've proven to be correct, and you have confidence to be able to do that. So you're really not hyping things up. You're just saying, hey, Jim, hey, Bill, we're friends. This actually works. I want to share it with you. And you have that confidence. I'm not saying go out to the world and broadcast it.
Oh, no. Yeah, to your point about that, yes, absolutely. I mean, what I love about taking an analytical and data-driven approach to this, I mean, if you look at just looking at these metrics here, you can't argue with data.
Right.
I mean, it either is or it isn't. And to say, I mean, yeah, we've got a little bit of a decline right here. We'll see how it levels out. If it's the dance, great. If we need to take corrective action, great.
Yeah.
But the data is undeniable. I mean, it's right there. It's black and white. I would have no problem in printing something like this off and say, look, these are the results I'm getting. This is my methodology behind it. You can do it yourself. It's repeatable. It's verifiable. You can't question that.
And you can do it manually if you want. That's why we have people here to learn.
Absolutely.
Take what we know, and hey, if you don't want to spend a couple $100, go out and do it yourself. Teach other people. Teach your VAs. But
Brian, in terms of your 2 campaigns, how much power did you put back? I.e., how many links or rows did you actually create for each campaign?
So I think what kind of ended up in a drop, it's in a different account. Let me see if I can pull this up here. One of them, there were 3,000 rows, and I think that's what's resulted in a little bit of a decline there. I think I hit it a little bit too hard on the second goes. But I mean, you can see this is near Bodecker Lake, which is actually on the west side of town, or let's even go out a little closer to where I'm at here. Boyd Lake on Google Maps. I mean, you can physically see it's right here. My business is right in here.
Yeah.
So very close proximity. And with this here, get this guy loaded up.
Yeah, that, once again, I like to go back to that warning, use your own conscience as to what you think, is.
Absolutely.
Pete, Pete's asking, did you send any citations or other Google to your this is a raw, brand new, from the get-go test. So the answer would be no.
No, brand spanking new, and that's the whole point of this particular test was make it super clean. I wanted a brand new website. rather than going out. Now, keep in mind, I guess there is a bit of age to the site, I guess a month, but that technically still would put us in Google's sandbox, so to speak. So yeah, all of this, I do have some branded keyword here.
Yep.
And all of this, I mean, this is, so 2,880 links. I mean, it's probably a bit excessive, but yeah, I mean, so we've got close to, 7,000 links, give or take, right in here. And this is just for Boyd Lake. We've also got these other, it's a similar sheet for all of these guys here as well. So we've got a really decent amount of links going in here. The biggest thing is, you guys have mentioned, slow and steady. Be the tortoise, not the hare on this, because in all honesty, I think that's what started to cause a little bit of this decline that we're seeing right here, is I hit it just a little bit too hard. Well, so I'll go back through and take a look at it.
No. I think I have another solution for a test.
Yeah.
So Henrik, when you make a mistake with this, what are the possibilities of rectifying that mistake?
Well, you can go in and make your what do you call it? Your photos private.
Right? Your delete button.
You don't have to delete them; just make them private.
Or make them private. Yeah, don't get rid of them. Just unpublish them.
Puts it in draft mode.
Yeah. No, but just put them into private mode, so it's not shareable. But again, what Brian is seeing there is a decline, and I will bet that within a period of time he will pop up again without doing anything.
Right. So if he's
Patrick, the Google dance is normally 21 days.
Yeah.
And what most people are getting concerned about, it's not ranking anymore, it's dropping. Yes, it's dropping because you have been too abusive. So just sit and wait and see if it takes 21 days, it takes 21 days. Do something else, rank something else in the meantime, but it will come up again, because Google is not punishing itself. It's just seeing, okay, this guy is being a little bit too active, what he's doing next. And if you have been too abusive, then this dance could last for 70 days rather than 21 days. So
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
But Henrik, I think one of the things that impressed me about what you said in a private conversation is that if you guys go out and hammer this stuff with Money Robot links, you hammer it with SEO Pilot, you hammer it with all these other backlinking tiered PBNs, okay? So when you do that, Brian, how long do those live out in space when you create them?
Well, with an SEO autopilot thing, it's a huge pain in the ass to undo it. I mean, because it's going out and permanently posting stuff to, say, like a T2 link or T3 link, and to go back through there and undo mass link building like that, oh my goodness.
So basically what
you'd be there forever.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of it is that, especially for non-advanced SEO people, newbies coming in, they get sold on do this. You could permanently destroy a client's site.
Oh yeah, GSA. I mean, I had used that at one point. Again, testing various software. I use GSA, and that's like taking an axe to pull out a sliver. I mean, that's like giving you that's basically giving you missile codes. Right. And if you don't know what you're doing with it, especially as a noob, you can permanently blacklist your site with that particular software alone.
And so I think what I was trying to say when Henrik, kind of pointed this out to me in one of our other conversations with the group, and that is, and one of our members did this. Adrian, remember Henrik?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? He made like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of links. I'm over exaggerating, but you get my point. And he got up to number 2 or number 1, and then he got slammed because I think he made too many. He just put all of his links on private, like Henrik said. And guess what happened? They came back, because when you put those links on private, they don't exist anymore. So all the damage that you did is undone in a single click of one action. You can't really ever hurt yourself permanently by doing any of this stuff with Google, because all you have to do is put it on private and it doesn't exist anymore, but you still have it all. How cool is that? Sorry, I get excited.
Toggle switch links.
And basically, that's pretty much it, right, Henrik?
Yeah, but the conclusion is what Brian have proven to us, that if you just do it in moderate, let's say, chunks, then you will get up. And you can see, is it at June 6, you had June 7, you actually hit the top, right?
Yep.
The spot number 2.
Yep, June 7th through 9th, I'm at number 2.
Yeah.
And then right at the 12th, I hit it again, and it caused me to drop right there. But you can see massive rank improvements. So let's go back all the way to April 6th, not in the top 50 rank tracking here. And this has been done weekly on automation. So May 16th, we pop up into 47. We're climbing. And this is a really, I mean, we have a little bit of a dip right here. 27 to 39 at the end of May. And this is a pretty steady incline right here.
That's pretty
all the way up until, I mean, going from June 3rd to the 6th, 29 to 5. And that's a 24 position jump. And then it just kind of levels right here at 2.
So Pete was asking, what are your rankings? I mean, that's really a clear picture. What software are you using right there?
This is Rank Tracker from Link Assistant or SEO Power Suite.
Okay, cool. My point is, why don't you just take those last set of links that you built, put them on private, do nothing else, and, well, actually Henrik was saying wait, right? Yep. Wait, and then if nothing happens, eliminate them and see if you go back to number 2. Not eliminate them, but put them on private. Is that what you're saying, Henrik?
No, I will personally, I will just let it sit and say, okay, I accept.
Leave them for a while and see what happened.
Yeah, 21 days, just don't do anything, let it level, and let the dance kind of do its thing, and then revisit this in 21 days, see how it looks.
Yep.
Right. All right, man, that is really awesome. It really is. I really thank you for bringing that to our attention, showing us that it is moving the needle. I mean, it's moving it. Whether people want to believe it, can't see it, it's like, does air exist? I can't see it, but I breathe it every day, right?
Absolutely.
And so a lot of guys are getting, like Paul in our group, Fuso, he's getting a lot of good results, like you are, doing the same thing. And we just see it every day, more and more and more of, utilizing this and the other tools that we have to just, get you guys ranked. I get amazed every time I see it, because I'm not smart enough to think of this kind of stuff, but we did anyway. So it's amazing. Any last questions for Brian? Now's the time. Is that Ghost browser you're using?
That is.
Browsio, it's Ghost browsing.
Yeah, and I've tested both. Both have their own specific purpose, but for the purposes of this particular demo, this is Ghost browser.
Right. Okay. Any final, have you tried with websites? I don't know what you mean. Have you tried with websites? Ghost browser with websites? I don't know the reference. Have you tried with websites? Tried what?
I think the question actually goes, have you tried to do it directly to websites?
Okay.
And what we're saying is, don't do it directly to your money site.
No.
Go through a buffer, being your GMB, being your, or build a gsite or something else which will sustain the amount of links. If you're pumping all these links on directly on your money site, you'll be dunked.
How much value do you think we're getting from the stack?
As far as link equity?
Yeah.
I would attribute, we're talking very short tail on anything other than the stacks.
Right.
So we're talking under 3%, in my opinion. I mean, you can see I've got 4 referring domains, 4 referring IPs, but most of this it's all done through Backlink Factory.
Right.
I have not, as far as the link equity on this, it's been a fairly controlled test. And I'm just not seeing any other links aside from those tweet chats that are actually resulting in any sort of backlink to my GMB or to my website. Everything, this is solely done through Backlink Factory.
Well, I think a lot of
I would say you're probably looking 97. I would attribute 97% to it.
I shared this with you or not, I don't know, Brian, but we do have sheets within Bank RFR.
Yeah.
And we do have sheets within GMB, but they're the basic sheets. They don't get into this complexity of what has been created. And I think everybody out there, kind of has to give a shout out to Henrik, because he kind of said, well, that's great, but what if we do what we're supposed to do by creating the stacking? And so this whole stacking concept that you see today, that what you're using, Brian, really just kind of came out of a discussion that he and I were having. And he said, well, I think we should do this and this and this and this, and we could do that, 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 and that. And we know how powerful stacking is because we do cloud stackers and, variant stackers and YouTube stackers. So why not just take the concept that some of us have learned in an overall perspective, through some of the other companies out there, and then drill it down into doing it this way. So this whole architecture, that you're seeing, was shared, one time with Henrik, and all these little boxes pointing to this and this and this. And I'm like, well, that looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Will it work? Will it work?
No, and having Henrik to bounce some ideas off of, even in the group, has been fantastic. I mean, this has just been an unbelievably successful campaign, in my opinion.
Cool.
To be able to take something that wasn't ranking within the top 50, top 100, and push it up to number 2 in a matter of a month, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's unheard of.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a testament to how powerful this software is.
See, look now you can go out there and charge $5,000 a month to get this done, and it only costs you $69 and a little bit of your business and a little bit of your time.
Yeah, and basically the time on this is cut down so dramatically too. I mean, you saw Henrik pulling through some of the architecture for this. If you were to do that manually, I mean, you're talking days, if not longer than that, right, depending on how complex you want your site architecture or your silo structure. Exactly. You can do this in minutes.
Well, we're not done. This is, we got plenty more coming. So we're getting way too long-winded here, and Henrik will yell at me later, says, you talk too much, you ask too many questions. We are here to share information with people. Okay, Dwayne, awesome, great content. I presume you could use gsites instead of the GMB for your buffer. Lee, exactly what Henrik was saying. Matter of fact, it's preferred, as gsite is your preferred buffer, because you could do so much more with it, right, Henrik?
Yep.
It allows you to add all of your embeds. It's just crazy what you can do with your gsites as your buffer site. It's the only way to really go. We'll have a training on that at some point. Any last words for Brian or Henrik? Anybody want to say anything? Like, awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Great webinar. I like putting words in people's mouth, Brian.
Well, thank you guys very much. This has been a real pleasure, and yeah, fantastic software, definitely.
Oh yeah, Fitz says come back in 21 days.
Yeah, let's make a test out of it.
All right, thanks guys. Henrik, as always, thank you, not only for your insight, but for helping us with the design and coming up with this awesome structure. Without you, we certainly couldn't be doing what we're doing, so we do appreciate that. All right, thanks guys. Talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.